say
Top Billin. Oh, and another one, win and advance. The Philadelphia Eagles 4-0 on the season, baby. And listen, I wasn't the biggest Vic Fangio fan when we got him in the fold, right? If you've been watching this channel, not a fan of his scheme at all. I've grown to appreciate it, and I've grown to appreciate that man a whole lot, right? A hell of a lot, because I can see him going outside of himself. That's the mark of a true champion. That's the mark of somebody with Hall of Fame potential, Hall of Fame credentials, because sometimes you have to switch up your pitch, man. Think about this. That man with his conservative approach, usually known for sending forward, got the zone defense and all that, really not my cup of tea. But this year, man, he's been sending them boys, right? When you really had to have it, he's going outside of himself. You can see this right here, right? You're going to have that, right? The twist exchange, right? Tackle exchange, tackle twist here. You're going to have what looks like perhaps it could be conservative, but then they bring from the second level Zach Bond shooting, right? So you get that four-man rush with Hunt, Zadarius Smith. You get that four-man rush with those guys on the front, bringing in that fifth pressure there. You have Jahad Campbell who can layer that down where he's working with the running back there in coverage, and everything is all to the good. Maro Ajomo right here. Look at Jalen Carter doing work and Maro Ajomo getting vert, and they splatter whacking that man Baker Mayfield. Look, listen, fair play to Baker Mayfield, man. That man played a hell of a game. They were knocking him around and everything, and he came to play. He's not easily bothered, put it that way, straight up there. But check this out right here. Jalen Carter doing big work on this, right? Even when it seems like he may not be having a good game, he's having a good game. He's drawing attention. He's doing the dirty work for people, right? They're having to really concentrate on him. But look at him right here, right? He's pushing it, making sure that Ajomo's able to get there, right? He's making this play without making this play, and then Maro Ajomo's able to get vert, right, from a clean pocket, a clean crease, and getting on Baker Mayfield, right? And Splaka tire. That's one. Same shit, different toilet. This time, instead of having Jahad Campbell work with the running back, you see Zach Bonds on this side. So you're giving them their medicine, but in different applications. Bonds still being sent. Jalen Carter this time, right, working to the left side of the formation with Maro Ajomo getting vert behind him. And then you have Jalix Hunt still doing the damn things. Darius Smith still doing the thing as well. Jahad Campbell right here, he's working with the second crosser in this one, right? He originally falls on this bad boy, right? But you can see right here, Cooper DeJean in man coverage there. This time the running back, though, will be picked up by Reed Blankenship running that ollie. So same concept, man, but making Baker Mayfield have to think, but same result right here, right? Not a sack this time, but Maro Ajomo flushes. You had Zadarius Smith, right, keeping it wide as well, right? If he would have pushed too far inside, you would have Baker Mayfield able to get out this way. And if you don't think about Baker Mayfield, he's going to escape. Usually he wants to go to the right. He's going to do really good that way. If you force him to go back this way, not as good as really nobody's good throwing him against the grain, right? Or not as good, but he's not as good, really bad, right? So forcing him that way, that's good scouting right there. And Baker Mayfield has a throwback across his body. And you have Perry Nickerson right here, Johnny on the spot. Bang! That's how it ends, baby. I love it right there, man. That is some good shit right there. Vic Fangio dialing it up, right? Not necessarily known for dialing it up, but I said that shit in that first game. I was like, man, this looks different from Fangio, right? He was really sending in fabricated pressure schemes, and it's continued thus far, 4-0, same results. When they first called this play, I was like, oh, man, that's a good play right here. It takes a lot of talent to be able to combat a play like this because they currently weren't expecting it, because you can see all the influence blocks up front. You see how people got out. Jordan Davis, right? Did he play in this game? Hey, I'm asking for a friend there, right? Jordan Davis can't be disappearing and people out here calling him, you know what I'm saying, better than Jalen Carter and shit like that. No, Jalen Carter never disappears. But you can see all those guys influence to get up front. But look at this, Zach Bond, right ahead of the play, working play side right here. If he doesn't really make this tackle, it's a chance, or if he's not there, it's a chance they could crease this, man, and this could be a really big gainer right there. But instead, man, I got to give props to Cooper DeJean right here, really containing that edge there. And then Zach Bond, Mekabuka was scared. Why he turned his back? He turned his back before the point of contact. Look at he turned his back. I'm going to do a spin move. You wasn't trying to do no spin move. You was trying for that shit not to hurt. And Zach Bond doing the damn thing. Having an all-pro and Jalen Carter on the line, having an all-pro and Zach Bond in the second level, having an all-pro on the third level in the secondary, and Quinyon Mitchell has to be worth his weight in gold. Yo, bro, for real, in all my years of playing football, right, into my late 20s, covering football for the past decade, what are we doing here? I'm not sure I've seen this particular play before. Right, I've seen plays like this. You can think of this as maybe a version of just a screen, right? Usually you be sitting in shotgun. Even like this, right, you're going to come out, pop that bad boy. But I'm not sure I've seen anything under center like this with the foot placement of Jalen Hurts and then an underhand toss. Look at that. Underhand toss that bad boy. And then look at the blocking scheme. That's almost perfect. That's almost a hat on a hat. If you think about it this way, Lane Johnson on the split out, bang, he creases, right, turns and angles. Then you get Cam Latu right here, same deal. He's going to get the approaching defender. You get Calcaterra right here, and then you get Saquon. So that's a hat on a hat. If Calcaterra gets a little bit better block right here, right, it still worked, obviously. But, man, it would have been clean like a stand-up. I was not expecting this at all. I had never seen that before. Maybe some of you out there have seen it. I've never defended it before playing it, but this is some good shit right there, right? Probably couldn't do this 2 times in a row, but you done put it on film now. So now what? They put so much film, so much different shit on film today, man, that people are going to have a hard time with their game prep trying to think about what they're going to do. This freaking money zone scheme, right, in the money areas for Kevin Patullo, nasty. We've seen variations off the brotherly shove before. This one's going to have them up all night, right? Because it still looks very much similar on the inside. But this time you have Mulata angling off, right? Gate stepping, and you have Calcaterra on the lead. And then, of course, Jalen Hurts there with Saquon Barkley getting to the outside. This one had him completely fooled. So think about that. If this is a quick hit and play anyway, if you have to think about it for a split second, you're pretty much at the Eagles' mercy. Look at that, right? Everybody crashing down, right? The end actually sniffs this out eventually, but it's way too late. Way too late, right? Everything was done up front, so think about that. They need to bring more and more variations off this play anyway, so people can shut the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing about the damn play from people, right? Every time they do the Eagles game, it always has to have his special segment and everything. Didn't even have to do it this game. Got up in the formation and got a clean touchdown off of it. Nasty. Good shit, Patullo. I love this one, too. 12 personnel. 1 back, 2 tight ends. Thin Diesel, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown in the game. Thin Diesel in motion. And then check this out right here. This looks like it could be a pull counter from Hurts or your straight-up power read there. But look. Reads that bad boy right where there's no read in it, right? This is straight play action right here to draw the unmarked car. Hit the unmarked car, draw him in, replace him with Goddard right there on the pitch. And then look at that, right? Really on the shovel. And then boom. It's nasty, man. Kevin Patullo is playing around with people, and people wanted this dude fired after 1 game. The fuck out of here. This one's a layup because normally if you're the running back, you would have Saquon Barkley out in the flat. Or at the very least, they pull the edge and pull him out to the flat. If both of these balls are coming, then it's a layup. Just take what the defense gives you. Both of them coming, yak 'em. There's no way you can be a linebacker and get all the way across a formation with somebody running into the flat. So if you see this would be this his man now, right? This is a crazy situation to be put in right there. You're not going to be able to get there. You see that right there? Not to mention they cleared it out. So they ran that clear out with Goddard, and Goddard ends up, right, having to mess with that as well. He kind of messes up the flow on that there. It almost looks like the linebacker ran to Goddard. So it looks like nobody was there. Look, they're bringing some serious pressure right here. So nobody accounted for Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts, Kevin Patullo, masterclass that. You can't have that. And it's Saquon Barkley at that. And you better strike while the iron is hot over at Prophet X. Prophet X is a peer-to-peer sports prediction exchange aimed at making you, the user, the chief in command. Gone are the days of going against Goliath, the sports book, when you can go against David and set your own odds and welcome all challengers. And there's going to be plenty of cash available at Prophet X, as they're only going to take a cut off what you negotiate with your winning wager, not necessarily profiting off losses. Use promo code TOPBILLIN and claim up to $200 in profit cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. Terms and conditions apply. Todd Bowles definitely a tough defense to deal with. However, if you just keep it simple, stupid, you know what I mean? He can be dealt with, right? Because you know they're going to come with it. They're going to bring the heat, right? 5, bringing it. But where's the extra pressure coming from, right? You should always have an answer for it. Looks like they did that with a lot of these mesh concepts, right? Just having guys that could be in that particular zone where it would be something quick hitting that you can go to in a moment's notice. So we see right here, get this bad boy out, and then look at that. Boom, right in the vacation. All you want to do is find a vacation. It's going to be a vacation. They running a ton of man, but they're having to run a little bit of zone as well, right? Especially with the mesh concepts and all that. There, pressure coming from this side, right? Haas Reddick, man. I'm still my favorite player. I don't switch up on people, even if they switch teams. Haas is my man, right? Camden in the building. And here we go right there. Jakob. Man, I had these boys all out of sort. Coverage across the board, pretty much covered too, right? Going to get depth back here with the linebacker. Coverage, split safety look, right? 2 deep shell, being coverage there. Coverage, and then just rushing 4, right? Very on-top Bulls. Like Jalen Hurts quickly recognizes that, or where's going to be the best way to beat a split safety look is usually right here, right? So if you can run that seam read, right? Get the seam read right here by Goddard, right? As soon as he clears face on the linebacker, Levante David, right? Coverage. You see where it should be. It's that simple. It's that simple right there. And then Jakob putting it on him right there, right? No Diddy. Cooper DeJean on the outside. So Cooper DeJean right here going against Emeka Ibuka. I just wanted to point that out. But look at the job he did. Obviously, I can't get my wish of DeJean being outside full-time, so I have to take what the defense is giving me, and that's that man outside in base coverage. And the job against Emeka Ibuka here, we'll run it. Check this out right here. We know Emeka Ibuka, oof, nasty, right? Coming out of that transition, right? Off-man coverage. Look at him. Play it smooth. Emeka Ibuka is a muff, right? He's nasty. I wish he would have found his way to the Philadelphia Eagles somehow. But you can see him splitting the difference right here. Setting the table, giving him Medusa eyes right there as with the sell, no tell. Then look at the transition right here. Bang. Bang that bad boy on this route. You see, or in this transition, you see the transition from Coop too, right? Coming up out of the pedal right here. No false step. Look at him right on that bad boy. Splits the difference and cuts the angle there to where he's able to drive up the back of Emeka Ibuka and use that inside hand to then bat the pass away. Boom. That's some high-level shit against a high-level receiver in man coverage, and he's making a play on the outside. It feels like it's man coverage 90% of the time. But when you're playing man coverage 90% of the time, you're bound to make some mistakes, especially if they're sending routes like this, right? You're running with the mesh concepts here. I believe you have Calcaterra right here on a shallow cross. You get Thin Diesel Devontae Smith on a shallow cross. You get Dallas Goedert here on that flag route. Then you get that deep dig here by A.J. Brown. So they do a good job of actually banjoing this on the inside, right? You'll see when it's running through right here, right? Work that right, boy. You saw that, the switch off right there? Remember, I've been talking about banjo, at least with the Philadelphia Eagles fans here for the last 3 seasons, right? See Calcaterra and Smith running that mesh concept. What you want to do is you don't need to necessarily follow your man all the way right here, right? It's man principles within a zone concept. So this linebacker will take that space instead of following Calcaterra. He'll take Smith, and then you'll get the linebacker over here is supposed to take Calcaterra. So what happens with this is my man right here, he's running into no man's land. You don't both need to take Devontae Smith. that leaves Levante David right here to then have to take Kyle Katera. And then, of course, Jalen Hurts, being the wizard that he is, recognizes what's going on, right? Man-to-man coverage. Everybody on this. We got Spakatai over here. You got a safety super deep, right? If he's the last layer of protection, all you have to do is do your thing, right? You know I can't show that bad boy. I have to short really fast. He ends up way down there getting the first down, right? They were manipulating the hell about it. Kevin Patullo had mind control over my man Todd Bowles. Alhamdulillah. What was this? Look at this. Bang! Oof! Fertilized that man and turned him into a cadaver. Jahad Campbell, look at my man. Oh, man. Bucky Irvin took a cold one. An absolute cold one. You can see him right there. They're starting to donate his body for science right now. They're already signing the paperwork and everything right there. His body is going to science as a cadaver. So thank you for your contributions to mankind. Man, look at this. Mano right here breaks down in space. Bucky Irvin, we know he'll make you miss, right? Really good running back right there, but look at that, man. Dead to rights. Wrapped him up around his right up under his ribs, right? He took away that man's core, right? Erased his core and then splack tire right there. Zombied that man the fuck out of here, right? He was done. Cooked. Hell of a tackle by Jahad. Yo, this is exactly what I see. If you up there talking to my coach, right, somebody better check your ass, right? You better check yourself before you wreck yourself, and then bang, right up in his sternum, right? Baker Mayfield might have been, he wasn't expecting that shit, right? He might have been at least 6% concussed from that shit too, right? He had to look like, oh shit, right? But he's a competitor. He understands this shit. The Bucs probably would have did the same shit if they were drawing with their coach, right? That's just some good football right here. I want to see these two teams play each other again. We got to see this shit again in the playoffs. This is why I like Jahad Campbell off ball opposed to edge. Had a lot of people come in here talking about moving him to edge when I did the Nakobe Dean being missed video earlier this week. And nah, I mean, I like Jahad Campbell. I said he's going to be a star. I don't know why people is lost on that, right? If you're not dig eating somebody, they think like you don't like them. I'm pointing out shit that I see on film. I think he could be better with his run fits, but he's just a rookie, which was pointed out, right? I didn't say that this was going to be his entire approach his entire career, nor did I say he should move off ball. I like him off ball. I would like for him at this particular point in time in his development to be the third down guy because he is masterful potentially in coverage, right? You get Baker Mayfield being flushed by Jalen Carter, of course, and you got Baker Mayfield being a dumbass right here. Those this join, and who's Johnny on the spot? Of course, Jahad Campbell. That man making plays. He got beat for a long-ass touchdown in this game off of a scramble drill. Tough luck on that one, right? It's happened to the best of us in that particular situation. But other than that, man, when it's in a routine portion of a play, I expect him to make plays on the ball with the ball in the air. He's really good at that. And he allows for Zach Bond to blitz. Zach Bond really good in coverage as well. For a linebacker, both of those guys we have to say for a linebacker, right? You're going to want them covering wide receivers on the inside and shit like that. Tight ends and running backs, these guys are going to be money. So, yeah, keep him off ball. I would like to see Nakobe Dean, if he comes back and is healthy, being able to play the first couple of downs. But eventually it's Jahad Campbell's position from here on out. I'm not dumb. I can use a first-round pick on somebody that's going to be their position. So we shall see how that works out. But in the interim, that'll be a great way to use everybody to their strengths. That's all I'm saying there. I don't know anything about Jahad Campbell as far as being an every down edge player, having to go against a tackle. Big difference between blitzing and then having to have a set list where you're going against a tackle down in and down out. But, hey, a tale of two halves on this one is just like the other one. The Buccaneers made some adjustments in the second half. You know it was hot as shit out there, and you could definitely tell which team was from up north in the second half. So I don't like to make excuses in life. I don't like for people to make excuses, but that could be a reason for the second half performance. That was on both sides of the ball again. So the offense, though, a lot of the shit was there for the offense, and we'll come back with the all-22 and kind of look and see where some of that shit went wrong on both sides of the ball in the second half. But a win is a win is a win, baby. Once again, 4-0, win in advance, survive in advance, however you want to say that. and keep trekking. All right. Much love to everybody out there in the Delaware Valley. Salute to all my villains out there, all my real football heads, not these can-pick, patty-whacked, sissified, cornball-ass people that be hopping on the internet looking for attention, man. All my real, actual football heads throughout the country, no doubt about that, but definitely in the Delaware Valley. So, as always, shout-outs to Elton, Maryland, Wilmington, Delaware, Christiana, Newark, Delaware, all them folks like that. South Jersey, as always, right? Camden, Millville, Bridgeton, Vineland, of course, and Cherry Hill, all you boys out there, right? The entire South Jersey, and of course, the entire city of Philadelphia. North Philly, we in the building. Kensington, we in the building. Much love to everybody out in Philly, West Philly, South Philly, the B, Southwest, far northeast, uptown, up top, Center City. You know how we do it, right? Much love. 4-0, baby. Let's keep it going, all right? Tap back in for the All-22 this week. Let's go.